In this tutorial, we're going to set up Visual Studio Code to work with developing Java applications. The first thing you need to do is download and install Visual Studio Code. After you do that, you're going to need to download the coding pack for Java for your operating system. It's about 55 to 60 megs in total space. You're going to launch that installer, and I have it open here, and we're just going to install that really quickly. We'll let that install. While that's installing in the background, what we'll do here is we're going to look down below in this tutorial. We need to set up VS Code extensions to have the Java extension pack. So what I'm going to do real quick, as I always like to do, is I like to set myself a workspace and go from there from my command line. So I'm going to go into my source folder where I keep most of my work. I'm going to make a new folder called Java Hello World, and I'll change to that directory. And then I'm going to end up launching Visual Studio Code into that workspace. So by doing code space dot, I'm going to end up having a new workspace. It'll be inside of that Java Hello World. So it'll keep all of my properties for Visual Studio Code. And that'll be opening here. Meanwhile, I can check on the installation process, which has now been completed. And from there, it will actually launch Visual Studio Code as well if I wanted to. I'm actually going to not do that because I've already launched Visual Studio Code while that was completing. And meanwhile, my Visual Studio Code is starting. It should be up here momentarily. And you'll see that it's open inside of that workspace. Okay. So I have that workspace open, my Java Hello World folder location. And the next thing I'm going to do is get that extension pack for Java. So here on my toolbar, you have extensions. Okay, we're going to look for Java and hope to find the extension pack for Java, and it's right there. And inside of this, it's going to have language support. It's going to have the debugger. And all as part of it, along with a few other things for testing and for Maven and IntelliCode and all. So you can choose it, and it shows you what's all in part of this. There's 6 different elements, and it looks like as per my environment, it's already been installed because you can see that uninstall or disabling it is an option. So I already have it set up, and I'm able to go if I wanted to. Now, what you can do is go to your command palette as well. So I can go back to my Explorer, and I can go to my View command palette. And if you start typing Java and colon tips for beginners, that extension pack will actually give you a page about creating a quick file, and you could follow this to see if it's working. However, before you do that, you do want to make sure your computer has a Java development kit on it, and you should have Java version 1.5 or above. Now, you can get Java from multiple places for downloading. So one place is the Java website. So if you go to the oracle.com/Java site, you can find it, and you can download the version that you want of the latest Java development kit and such. Okay, so you need to have that set up and working. My computer has already been set up and established to run Java, so I don't need to do anything here at this time in order to be able to check it out and see if I could code in Java here. But just know, you need to install that that JDK and such. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new file, though. We're going to check to make sure if I'm ready to go at this point. So if I do a new file here, I'll call it hello.java. Okay, pretty common for hello world. Hello.java is there. And what I can do now is I can put in some code. Okay, and Another way you could do this is to create a Java project. So it needs a folder in order to work properly. Otherwise, Visual Studio Code will not actually work in like the way you had hoped for. And also there's a Java project approach you can use too, and you could do that from your command palette if you go up here to view command palette, and if you type Java again, you can see that there is create Java project. All right, so that's another option as an approach. That'll give you the entire structure for an entire Java project to go ahead and try out if you want. But if you're just going back to this tips for beginners and you wanted to see if everything's working okay, we're going to create this class and we'll and it's based upon its name, quickstart.java is what the file is. I'm going to change this just slightly. So instead of calling it quick start, my file is called hello. So I'm going to just take that from the tips from beginner, and I'm going to type hello instead, matching my file name to my class name. Okay. Now to run the program, it just tells you to press F5, and again, this is just going to see if my computer is able to run this class, and if it does, we expect that hello world is just going to print out in the console. So we're going to press F5 to run this and see what happens, and the debugger will take up, and now it's going run and debug, and let's see if the terminal shows me the output that we're hoping for. Okay, so it does, and it's you see hello world there. So everything worked okay. So my Visual Studio Code is good to go, and to see that I'm able to run Java. So in my case, I have JDK 1.8 installed. It's in my C Java folder. You can see the C Java JDK 1.8. That's the one that picked up. You could always do a test beforehand, though, if you're wondering, do I have Java installed? You could type Java-version. Okay, and you could see there, if you wanted to do it before Visual Studio Code, this might be another good approach, is to do Java-version right there from your command line. Make sure you have that JDK set up and your computer has and recognizes Java, and then you're good to go. You can take all the benefits of Visual Studio Code, having a debugger, and learning an interface. That's a very common development tool for many platforms. There was a time like you think Visual Studio Code was for just Microsoft technologies, but there are tons of extensions. You can use it for various other programming languages, and why not just learn a common IDE across all the development platforms you work on? And Visual Studio Code is a great little platform for doing that. So I hope you found this quick, brief tutorial helpful. Please feel free to put comments down below. I hope you subscribe to my channel. If you have recommendations, please reach out for future tutorials. Thank you.